everyone, it's Ashley and today I'm bringing you another tag video. Today I'm bringing you the New York Times Buy the Book tag. I will leave the original video linked down below, and without further ado, let's get started. Question number one, what book is on your nightstand right now? I have two books on my nightstand, one being The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, which I'm slowly but surely getting through, and the second one is Wink Poppy Midnight. Question number two is what was the last truly great book that you read, and for this I'm gonna have to go with The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. It was by far the best book that I've read probably in the last 5 years, if not ever in my life. It was so good. The character development was outstanding. The world building was great. I absolutely devoured it. I actually have both a non-spoilery and a spoilery review for that. I will leave both of them linked down below because I don't want to gab about it too much in this video because it would go on forever. Question number three is if you could meet any author, dead or alive, who would it be and what would you want to know? I've been thinking about this question for a while, and it's the reason I've been avoiding doing this tag. I never know how to answer this question. I feel like it's a tie between J.K. Rowling and John Green. J.K. Rowling, I would want to know how she came up with that world and how she developed it so well and how she feels about affecting everyone so much, because honestly she has had the biggest effect on my life even though I've never met her. If I met John Green, I'd probably just honestly want to have coffee with him and like talk to him about life and just be best friends. I feel like that would actually be a thing that could happen with John Green. So those are my answers. J.K. Rowling and John Green. I'm not gonna pick one, I'm picking two. Question number four is what books might we be surprised to find on your shelves? And I think this is the tie between some children's picture books, which I have from back when I worked as a children's bookseller, or possibly Kurt Vonnegut books. I've never read a Kurt Vonnegut book, but I own more than one, 2 or 3 actually, because I really want to read Kurt Vonnegut, but I just haven't yet. Question number five is how do you organize your personal library? And this varies. Right now it's organized by contemporary, magical realism, fantasy-ish, and then just kind of like put the way that I wanted to put them. And then I have a whole separate bookshelf that's like adult fiction slash books that didn't really fit anywhere else. Normally I organize them by like genre, like contemporaries, magical realisms, adult fictions, sci-fi fantasy, children's. That's normally how I organize it. I have done the color-coded organization in the past and I did like it. I've also done all the hardcovers and all the paperbacks together and really like that as well. It just really depends on my mood. I change it up a lot. Question number six is what book have you always meant to read but just haven't gotten around to, slash books that you feel embarrassed you haven't read yet? I'm gonna go with The Princess Bride. I've always wanted to read The Princess Bride, but I feel like it's this like really large undertaking because the movie's so good and people love this story so much that I feel like it's like I read it and I'm worried that what if I hate it? So I haven't gotten around to it yet. As far as books that I'm embarrassed to have never read, I don't really know. I haven't read all of Jane Austen. I'm kind of embarrassed by that. I've only read Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice. Ooh, and I've never read Wuthering Heights. I am actually embarrassed by that. I am very embarrassed that I've never read Wuthering Heights. Number seven is what was a book that you felt disappointed by, like a book that everybody else really liked but you just didn't really like? I don't hide this on my channel at all. I was not a huge fan of the City of Bones book. That being said, I haven't read the whole series, so I can't say that I'm not a fan of the series. I have debated picking it back up because people seem to love Cassandra Clare so much and I kind of want to give her a second chance. But truthfully, I was very underimpressed by City of Bones. The second part to that question is what was the last book that you put down without finishing? I mean, the last book that I avidly remember putting down and being like, I am never going to finish you, was the book by Lauren Oliver about love being like a curse, or like Delirium. Delirium. I put Delirium down and I will probably never ever read Delirium again. Number eight is what kinds of stories are you drawn to, or are there any stories that you steer clear of? As far as stories that I'm drawn to, there's a few different things. One, character-driven books. I am a huge fan of character-driven books. This is why I generally read a lot of contemporary. Lately, I've found a lot of fantasy that has really well-developed characters, and I'm so excited because I've always loved fantasy, but it's hard, I find, to find fantasy where they put character development above the setting. Like, I mean, like, the setting's great, but I don't want the setting to overpower the character development. Well-developed, well-done characters and plots that are driven by characters, I'm drawn to that. I'm also very much so drawn to multiple narratives. I'm really a fan of those when they are done well. Like, I love Eleanor and Park, very well done dual narrative. It's not always well done, but when it is, I find that I'm very much so drawn to that. Otherwise, I mean, magic, I'm a Harry Potter person, so generally speaking, if you put magic in your book, I'm gonna want to pick it up. Also, coming of age stories. Again, the character development, coming of age stories, the character development is part of a coming of age story, but I've always loved coming of age stories. The Outsiders is one of my all-time favorite books, Looking for Alaska, things like that. I'm a really big fan of books like that. As far as things I steer clear of, I think the only thing I really steer clear of is horror. At least like really graphic horror. I also don't really read a lot of mystery or a lot of romance. I sometimes do new adult romance, but I've never really been drawn to a romance novel or a mystery novel just by their general genre, so. Number 9 is if you could require the president to read one book, what would it be? I don't really know. I mean, I think I'd want to give them a book that would give them the insight into how like the younger generation really feels. Not even my generation, like younger than me, like teenagers, just to get them to get to know how like they could really get to know that generation a little bit better. And generally speaking, one of the books that I say that almost everyone should read is 13 Reasons Why, because I feel like it really gives people an understanding about what bullying can do to a lot of people and how that can affect people's lives on a scale that most people don't really understand. So I'm gonna go with 13 Reasons Why. And the 10th and final question is, what book do you plan to read next? And my answer is actually the same as it was for the first question, and that is Wise Man's Fear and also Wink Poppy Midnight. So that was my New York Times By the Book tag. I'm going to tag a few people. I'm going to tag Fran from Fran Duffler Gray, because I always tag Fran. I'm going to tag Susie from Read Susie Read. I'm going to tag Jamie from Oh My Good Burks. And I'm also going to tag Erica. So I will leave all of their channels linked down below for you guys. If I didn't tag you but you want to do this tag, please consider yourself tagged. Comment down below with the link to your video so I can watch it. And other than that, I will see you guys soon with another video. Happy reading. Bye! So my expectations going into the second book are so high that if Patrick Rothfuss lets me down, he will be letting me down hard and fast.